right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Pension payments not adding up for retired St. Louis teachers.
It's heartbreaking.
Tonight, the I-Team uncovers a pension fund bleeding money.
Warmer afternoons on the way, and I'm tracking some rain chances by the end of the week.
Our top story, a late-night run for marijuana about to get the green light in St. Louis.
That just legitimizes the business. It takes some of the stigma away.
Opponents say it will kill their buzz.
I don't think it's necessary or a good idea.
Tonight, a new bill to extend hours at marijuana dispensaries is closer to becoming law in the city of St. Louis. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson. Mike Bush has the night off. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is live from the Grove, where one business is hoping to keep its doors open longer. Laura?
Kelly, most dispensaries in the city of St. Louis right now actually have to close up shop at 8 p.m., which means they lose on sales in different counties across our area. If passed, St. Louis Board Bill 15 will allow dispensaries in city limits to stay open until midnight. Alderwoman Alicia Saunier supports the measure, sponsored by Alderman Rasheen Aldridge.
We found no issues with crime, no issues with safety. Found that these are some of the most safest facilities in terms of having multiple identification checks just to enter their premises, and let alone before you can interact with any substances. And so I think now is prime time for us to revisit and have this conversation.
Swade Dispensary Director of Retail Operations, Jack Haddock, says they are already able to stay open later because they petitioned the city and have seen the benefit in entertainment districts.
The nightlife doesn't get going till later at night. A lot of times there'll be a line down the street, people waiting to get into the bar or get into that restaurant, whatever it is. This helps people serve that wider berth of customers.
Saunier says without extended hours, they're leaving money on the table. Right now, the city is projected to rake in $2.4 million in tax revenue from dispensaries.
Obviously, at a time where we've recently taken a hit to our earnings tax and we have a gap to fill in that way, we're exploring all options, and so I think this can be a part of that.
St. Louis resident and business owner Louis Marler says the extended hours might not be right for every part of the city, like where she lives and owns an art gallery off Cherokee Street.
Noise is the problem for me. I tolerate a certain amount of noise. With that said, however, when I made this plan and moved in here, there was not a dispensary or a bar on the block. So that's changed the climate quite a bit.
She's also worried about safety.
They always say they have their own security. However, they're not outside. They're inside. They don't know what's going on in the alley.
Haddock says they believe dispensaries help neighborhoods both with foot traffic and safety.
If anything, it makes it safer. We're open. That means there's more people, more eyes, more visibility on everything around us.
Alderwoman Saunier says they expect to pass this bill out of committee probably tomorrow, which means it will then go in front of the Board of Aldermen later this week. Reporting live in the Grove, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
Tomorrow morning, Missouri Governor Mike Parson will announce new actions on people who sell foods that contain cannabis, more specifically psychoactive cannabis compounds known as THC. The governor signed an executive order prohibiting the sale of those foods unless it's from an approved source. Tomorrow morning, the Missouri Supreme Court will decide whether to keep an abortion rights question on the November ballot. Amendment 3 seeks to legalize abortion in Missouri. A Cole County judge blocked the initiative from the ballot just 3 days ago, claiming the campaign, which garnered 380,000 petition signatures, didn't do enough to inform voters how the ballot question would undo Missouri's near total abortion ban.
This actually raises a host of questions and asks them to vote on them all at once, which is actually illegal. We have a constitutional provision protecting us from having to do that.
Just today, Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft decertified the amendment, removing it from the ballot. The deadline to place the measure on the absentee ballot before printing is tomorrow afternoon. Tonight, the I-Team is taking a closer look at a story that impacts the future of education in the city, a growing financial crisis in the St. Louis Public Schools pension fund. 5 on Your Side's Paula Vasson takes a deep dive into the issue, one that's gone largely under the radar but is now raising serious red flags.
Industry insiders describe a ticking time bomb at the heart of St. Louis Public Schools, a pension system that's rapidly running out of time and money. The I-Team has uncovered concerning issues that put both the district and its teachers on shaky ground, raising concerns about whether it can fulfill its financial promises.
You start to feel the pinch of that pretty quickly.
Retired high school teacher Byron Clemens feels the strain. As the head of the largest teachers union in St. Louis, he says he talks to retirees every day who are struggling.
The much older retirees, it's a real issue for them to make their ends meet.
The St. Louis Public Schools Pension Fund, intended to provide a secure future for the district's retired employees, has seen worsening financial health in recent years. Its most recent financial report shows the district's pension liability has exploded, increasing by nearly $100 million last year alone. Industry experts point to a 2017 bill that slashed the contributions St. Louis Public Schools had to pay into the system, all while increasing the benefits promised to retirees.
It's heartbreaking.
Missouri lawmaker Doug Clemens is Byron's brother on the state's pension committee. He says as more teachers retire, they're pulling from a system that's bleeding money, while fewer new teachers are coming in to replenish the fund. SLPS now has thousands of retired members, drawing from a system that cannot afford cost of living adjustments amid surging inflation.
Basically, we're not going to have enough money to give people what they've paid into in their retirement.
One SLPS insider told us the district is, quote, walking on eggshells. In 2023, the SLPS pension system was placed on a public watch list due to its dangerously low funding ratio. The district is not contributing the actuarially required amount, the amount promised to teachers and staff to keep the system afloat. Earlier this year, Clemens filed House Bill 2846 to stabilize the pension fund by freezing contribution decreases as a first step. But so far, SLPS has resisted, arguing the reforms would limit flexibility and create more financial headaches.
We had people come in and testify who literally are not having the money come in to feed themselves and keep their lights on.
A spokesperson with the pension fund told us they're talking with St. Louis Public Schools and others right now to figure out a solution. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for Paula, leave a voicemail at 314-444-5231. You can also email her, paula@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential. Tomorrow afternoon, the St. Louis Board of Aldermen will discuss how to split its $250 million share of the RAM settlement funds. More than 14,000 city voters helped narrow down the wish list to 6 priorities. Tomorrow, we expect the treasurer to explain how much interest that $250 million has accrued and an update from the mayor's office on how much federal ARPA money they still have left to spend. New security upgrades are starting to show up at Metrolink platforms in the Metro East. New gates and fencing are now up at the Emerson Park Station in East St. Louis. There are also dozens of new cameras. For now, security guards are manually operating the gates until a new fare collection system is installed. It's part of Metrolink's plan to improve safety all over the bi-state.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to feel safe, right? No matter where you live, what walk of life you come from, all of our customers want to feel safe. And so what we're trying to do with this process is articulate to the region that we take your safety and your security seriously, and we're exhausting all of our options to provide as much of a safe environment for you to catch these trains as possible.
Installations have already started at several stations in Missouri. All Metrolink stations should be updated by January 2026. Just hours ago, hundreds gathered for one of the biggest classical music concerts of the year. New tonight, Annie Krall was there for a special birthday celebration for one of our city's legendary conductors.
Leonard Slatkin had an illustrious career, serving as maestro here in St. Louis and across the globe. Tonight, inside the historic Sheldon Concert Hall, you could feel the emotion coming off the ivories and strings. Rather than taking a look tonight, let's take a listen to just a snapshot of St. Louis's classical music history.
It wasn't to the tune of Happy Birthday, but listening to internationally acclaimed musicians ring in the 80th birthday of Leonard Slatkin, the legendary St. Louis symphony conductor, was maybe just a bit more special.
Since I've had so much of my life connected with St. Louis, and in particular with the orchestra and the Chamber Music Society, this is a marvelous honor. I'm very, very happy to be here.
The event at Sheldon Concert Hall also commemorating the 15th anniversary of the Chamber Music Society, hoping to inspire the next generation. Executive and Artistic Director Mark Gordon says.
We have amazing talent in St. Louis, and that's what we feel our responsibility is, to help coach those folks and bring them on. They do go on to significant music schools all over the country. And as far as Leonard tonight, he was the inspiration for that.
Vintage was Monday's theme, from the fashion to the music choices.
The classical music is vintage music. It's been out there for many centuries, but also for fashion, as being an art of fashion is also. So we combine the art of classical music combined with art of fashion.
Channel 5 KSDK.
We have our own vintage throwback thanks to Slatkin, who wrote the Channel 5 theme song used from 1986 to 1990.
And now, Channel 5 Eyewitness News Update.
So I actually took the first 4 notes of a Rachmaninoff symphony, dum bum ba bum, and turned that into a kind of rhythmic, strong news thing with pianos and xylophones.
Even the Wizard Hall of Fame shortstop Ozzie Smith said he had to support his friend, the maestro, both big fans of the Cardinals and quality composition.
Music has always been a part of my life, and so, getting to the symphony and having a chance to widen the horizons has always been important,
The Chamber starts their season on September 23rd with a concert titled Open Strings. Leonard tells me he's going to be performing with his wife and son here in St. Louis in late October for a multi-generational event.
The countdown is on to a face-off of presidential proportions. Tonight, what a new poll suggests about the state of the race between Trump and Harris. A dream vacation turned into a medical nightmare.
I didn't actually even know what my work insurance covered.
Tonight, how you can avoid unexpected costs while traveling abroad.
I'm tracking wildfire smoke overhead and then Tropical Storm Francine turning into a hurricane. I'll let you know when to expect some rain here.
We are now less than 24 hours away from the first and perhaps only presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. New polling shows a lot could be on the line. A New York Times Siena College poll finds Mr. Trump ahead of Ms. Harris by 1 point, with 28% of those surveyed saying they need to learn more about the vice president. Both candidates have shared their thoughts about the first ever face-off.
We're run by stupid people. Stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night.
There's no floor for him in terms of how low he will go. And we should be prepared for that. We should be prepared for the fact that he is not burdened by telling the truth.
You can watch the debate here on 5 on Your Side. Coverage starts tomorrow night at 7. And our political editor, Mark Maxwell, will have a full wrap-up on 5 on Your Side at 10. A catastrophic failure. That is how House Republicans describe the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in a new scathing report. The 350-page report blasts the Biden administration for its botched planning that led to a disastrous end to America's longest war in 2021. 13 service members, including Marine Lance Corporal Jarrett Schmitz of Wentzville, were killed in the Abbey Gate bombing. Experts and former officials contend President Biden and former President Trump share responsibility, citing it was the Trump administration who agreed to a flawed pact with the Taliban, but it was President Biden who bungled the execution of the withdrawal. Tonight, Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery is looking for a few good volunteers for Patriot Day. On Wednesday, they're asking for people to come out to clean headstones. It's in honor of the 23rd anniversary of the September 11th attacks. The event starts at 9:30 a.m., and we have more information in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. We have a consumer alert. The FDA is recalling several brands of apple juice because of high levels of inorganic arsenic. The products are sold at Aldi, Walgreens, and Walmart under the brands like Great Value, Market Basket, Weiss, and Urban Meadow. No illnesses have been linked to the tainted juice. Overexposure can cause stomach and intestinal problems, along with nerve and skin issues. Many Americans enjoy traveling abroad, but an unexpected health issue can quickly turn a dream vacation into a costly nightmare. Tonight, Consumer Reports explains how to avoid big medical bills during international travel. Here's Mike Bush.
Sandra Gutierrez faced a health emergency while attending a destination wedding on a Greek island.
When I got to the hospital, I realized it was going to be bigger than what I initially thought.
She was diagnosed with leukemia and stayed in the hospital for weeks.
I didn't factor in like cancer treatment in another country. I didn't actually even know what my work insurance covered.
A 2022 survey found that nearly 1 in 4 Americans have faced health issues while traveling abroad.
All right, what's your name?
It can be difficult to get quick help from your health insurance back home, and your policy might not even cover you abroad.
Most U.S. insurers, including Medicare, offer little or no medical coverage outside of the country, which can lead to hefty medical bills if you need care.
To protect yourself, consider a travel medical insurance policy. These plans can cost less than $100 per trip, depending on the provider and what's covered. Just make sure to shop around. Websites like Insure My Trip and Squaremouth make it easy to compare different policies. Pick a provider with strong ratings with the Better Business Bureau, AM Best, a credit agency for insurance companies.
Before buying, check the policy for exclusions, deductibles, and coverage limits, and verify that the policy covers your pre-existing conditions and prescriptions.
It's also a good idea to have a policy that covers medical evacuation, especially if you're heading to remote areas with limited access to major hospitals. Sandra wanted to return to the U.S. right away after her diagnosis, but she says a medical transport from Greece would have cost her thousands of dollars out of pocket. Now she has this advice for travelers.
If you want the peace of mind and if you can't afford the insurance, get it. It will save you in the long run.
For Consumer Reports, Mike Bush, 5 on your side.
Tonight, people along the Gulf Coast are bracing for Tropical Storm Francine. Today, people in Louisiana worked to fill sandbags. There was also long lines for gas. It's expected to make landfall tomorrow as a hurricane with threats of flooding, strong winds, and power outages. Officials are urging people to evacuate the coast. Meteorologist Jim Casillo's in for Scott tonight. He's here with the weather impact forecast and more on Francine.
Yeah, so I used to live down in deep South Texas here, right out of Missouri. Did you know that? So I worked down here, and bless you. So we've got the tropical storm off the coast. Really, here's the mouth of the Rio Grande River, and then Brownsville, Texas, Harlingen, Corpus Christi. So they're watching this to the Texas coast, and eventually it becomes a hurricane. Looks like a Category 2 as it approaches the coast of Louisiana, just to the east of Houston. So we're watching that. Again, winds now of 65 miles an hour. So how does that affect us? Well, this is what we're expecting. As it moves inland, it weakens, but then that low itself moves into southeast Missouri, and then we'll get some moisture up here and watch to see how much moisture gets in here. The track may change a little bit, but here's that future cast showing the rain from St. Louis eastward. Looks like the heaviest rain will be to the southeast of St. Louis, but nonetheless, remnants arrive for us late Thursday night into Friday, and it could be beneficial rain for some of us. So it does look widespread. Amounts have been increasing south and east of St. Louis, southeast Missouri, and southwest Illinois. So here's the rainfall potential, the latest. Looks like when you get the yellow in here, that could be 1 inch or more, and that is just south of St. Louis. But we'll take that 1/2 inch to about 3/4 of an inch. And this could change a little bit. It could move a little bit further north or a little bit further south and east. So we'll watch this over the next couple of days. A little lesser amounts to the north and west. Then on top of that, we've had these incredible sunrises and sunsets with the wildfire smoke. So wildfires from the west and in Canada, taking the jet stream and riding it right into the area. So it's been kind of thick in the region, but only in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, not really affecting us at the surface. Wanted to show you the time lapse of this evening. And here's Forest Park. There's Clayton in the background. Here's the sun setting. And when it sets, you get that orangey glow, and at times you get a little bit of red glow in here. It really is beautiful. And I bet you that sunrise will also, right there, that sunrise will also be fantastic as we get into tomorrow morning. All right, 66 degrees right now. Wanted to show you that 7-day forecast as I walk back to Kelly. We've got temperatures at about 86 tomorrow. Still that wildfire smoke in the sky. And then as we head into Wednesday, 91. So it does get warmer. And then as we head into Thursday night and also Friday, that chance of showers and maybe a rumble of thunder in here. But probably with that rain Friday, Kelly, about 77 for that high.
Okay, it's kind of creeping up a little bit, though, that temperature.
Yeah, a couple days of that.
Yeah, just need to bring it back down. Okay, thank you, Jim. Here's Frank with sports.
Kelly, Brady Cook on balancing football, studies, and dating. Matt Morris on how he almost fought his catcher Mike Matheny one day. And great news for local golf fans. Stick around.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
I imagine when Brady Cook was at Chaminade and being recruited by Mizzou, he didn't think he would be quarterbacking the 6th-ranked team in the country. However, that's where the Tigers are as they prep for Boston College. Our Sunday night quarterback becomes our Monday night quarterback. Brady had a good day at the office against Buffalo. He was an efficient 28 of 36 for 228 yards. And in the process, he passed Blaine Gabbert for 6th on the all-time passing yards list. And oh, by the way, he also had a magnificent 31-yard touchdown run. So he told me last week he watches 4 hours of film a day. So how does he have time for class and a girlfriend?
That's a good question. I got my undergrad and I also got my master's degree. So I can confidently tell you I'm not spending as much time on school as I have in the past. I have one class right now and it's online, so we're able to get by there. I do have a girlfriend of about 7 years, so we spend as much time together as we can during the week. Like I said, I know she's excited for bye week.
Love Brady. Cardinals are off today, and I think most would agree 2 of the bigger problems are coaching and starting pitching. Imagine if they had the 2 guys behind me in their prime, pitching coach Dave Duncan and pitcher Matt Morris. Both went into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Only 10 pitchers have made 200 or more starts for the Redbirds, and of those 10 starters, Morris has the best winning percentage, even higher than Bob Gibson. The Cardinals never had a losing record during a season in his starts. I asked the 2-time All-Star about his celebrated disagreement on pitch selection with good friend and catcher Mike Matheny.
I only said I was going to beat him up because we were on the field. I didn't want to go back to the dugout because that would have went bad for me. But I mean, many times he's thrown his shin guards at me when he's taking them off because I would sit next to him, but not close enough he can punch me, but far enough to get hit by a shin guard. And he would, we were battling, and we both cared, and we were stubborn, and some of the greatest times ever.
The Ascension Charity Classic is coming off their best tournament ever. And they also announced that the tourney will continue with Stiefel as the sponsor. By the way, Tiger Woods turns 50 in December of 2025. Just saying. In the final group yesterday, there was Y.E. Yang, who once beat Tiger to win the PGA Championship. Stuart Sink was there. He won a British Open. And 2-time Masters champion Bernhard Langer, who at age 67 shot a 64 in the final round, including that birdie on 18 to force a playoff. And Yang won it with this birdie in the playoff. The real winner, St. Louis, because Stiefel is keeping this tourney alive.
It shows the best of St. Louis, and so for us to continue our support of St. Louis sports, whether it's the Blues, the Cardinals, and now the Stiefel Charity Classic, I couldn't be more proud to be part of this event.
The Jets were in San Francisco to face the 49ers, and Christian McCaffrey did not play. But his replacement, Jordan Mason, did, and did he ever. 28 carries, 147 yards. Aaron Rodgers threw some beautiful balls like this touchdown to Allen Lazard. Not enough. The 49ers roll to a 32-19 victory, and that will do it in sports.
All right, thank you, Frank. A sweet for candy corn lovers. A new seasonal booking now open. The St. Louis Blues made an acquisition today, but it wasn't for a player on the ice. The franchise has completed the purchase for full ownership of Stiefel Theater. The iconic venue is adjacent to the Enterprise Center. The Blues helped restore and reopen the historic Kiel Opera House back in 2011. Apple unveiled its new line of iPhones today. The iPhone 16 features Comes with more memory to support Apple Intelligence and a tougher screen. The company also unveiled the Apple Watch Series 10 and new AirPods 4. All go on sale September 20th with pre-orders starting this Friday. And if you love candy corn, yes, this may be the destination for you, Frank Cusimano. Brock's is teaming up with Great Wolf Lodge for a tri-color oasis. It comes with endless supplies of the polarizing candy. Even after checkout, the room outside Chicago is now all open for bookings between September 22nd and Halloween. I mean, who doesn't love a good candy corn?
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Used to.
Yes. Final quick check.
Yeah, so jacket weather in the morning, and then you take that off in the afternoon. It's kind of like California weather. We've got 86 for you tomorrow, but in the morning, some areas in the 40s.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Thanks so much for joining us. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. And be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis starting at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.